Hello and welcome to Open Line. I'm Starlene Stringer. Well, there are several Dallas County programs and initiatives that impact Irving. On this edition of Open Line, we'll take a look at some of these efforts and how they improve the quality of life in the city. Dr. Elba Garcia, Dallas County Commissioner for Precinct 4, joins us with the update. Welcome and thank you so much for being here.
A pleasure to be with you this afternoon.
Well, it is our honor to have you. We know you've been really instrumental in spearheading several of the county's projects in your precinct in particular, and there's a lot of big news on Irving's Campion Trail. So let's start there. There's actually a new extension scheduled to open this fall, so what can you tell us about that?
Well, we are excited about this. This is a $5 million project, 2.5 from the city of Irving and 2.5 from Dallas County. Right now it's 82% completed. 2.3 of the 2.7 miles that this trail is going to be are already on the ground. So we are excited about it, and yes, we should be opening pretty soon.
Wonderful. We're looking at some of the video of it right now, and it is absolutely beautiful. I have to ask, how did Irving succeed in getting the funding for the extension?
Well, one of the things about the Dallas County Trail Board is that we look at the projects that the municipalities have pretty much ready to go. And the city of Irving, the mayor and the council, and as well as the staff, has been instrumental in always having those projects that are exciting, those projects that connect. Because remember, we look also at connectivity, we look at how are they going to improve the trail system in Dallas County. So the city of Irving makes perfect sense. This trail will go all the way from Coppell, and once we finish closing the gap between north and south, it will go all the way to Grand Prairie.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I know the northern extension into Coppell comes right on the heels of the expansion in South Irving at Mountain Creek Preserve. So can you tell us about that? I mean, what was the most satisfying aspect of completing that project?
Well, you know, we are really looking into closing the gap, Dallas County. Our project is more that in conjunction with Cypress Waters and closing the gap. So the closing the gap is obviously going to be a lot more challenging because we're going to have to cross through freeways and pretty much, business communities, etc. So these, the Dallas County Trail Board have already approved $6 million for 2021 and 2024 because this project is going to take a lot more time. And also because Dallas County has a system of pay as you go on a 5-year plan. So most of the time that's the timeline that some projects need to be completed, and this one is one of those. This is going to be a challenging one, but nevertheless, the Trail Board already pretty much approved $6 million for this. So it's exciting, it's going to take time, but it's the way of looking into the future. It's the way of the new generation that is going to be concise, more connected. Let's face it, we all know that the North Texas region is the fastest growing region in the United States of America, and that people are looking into different ways of living, different ways of communicating, and different ways of transportation. So this is one of those issues that the young generation is looking into it. And let's face it, our trails are very well utilized. At this point, people like to not only work out, but play and do business on our county trails.
So we've talked a bit about the expansion north and south, Dr. Garcia, but right now that trail doesn't connect within the city of Irving. So I understand that project is in the discussion phase. Can you share the current status on that?
Well, like I say, we have already allocated some of the funds and it's in the planning stages. It's going to take some time, but nevertheless, we have a timeline. We have the will from every single entity, including the city of Irving and Dallas County. So we're ready to rock and roll on that.
And you touched on it a bit. There's definitely, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because as you mentioned, it could affect businesses. You've got roadways in the roads, in the way. And so can you tell me what other kind of obstacles do you face in getting this completed?
Well, most of the time is, pretty much having the funding, which in this case is already allocated, which makes me feel very good. And then we just have to start moving it with design, with everything that has to do with environment, with everything that has to do with business owners. So that is pretty much the biggest challenge.
Okay, and you kind of touched on this too, but it's important to note that these trails are actually in this whole project connecting the city with other neighboring cities as well. Why is that important? What other trail projects are you working on?
Well, as you know, the south part of Campion goes all the way into Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie has been instrumental also in doing this connectivity possible, not only with the trails, but also with the roads. And of course, you know, the city of Dallas as well. Right now we are working also with the city, that one of my dreams of the future is to have a 360 degrees trail all over Dallas County. And right now we're working with the city of Dallas with the North Haven Trail, which goes pretty much from Central Expressway, east of 75, all the way to the Elm Fork Athletic Complex that the city of Dallas has been working on. So the opportunity to connect into Campion is there. And hey, I mean, it will take some more time. I mean, that is not in the books yet, but that is my dream, to be able to connect not only from north to south, but also from east to west.
I love it. And so, you know, this has been a passion of yours for years. You've really, really worked with the trail projects for a long time. Why do you feel they're so important?
Like I say, it's not only quality of life that people like to do, but also remember, Dallas County budget is based on property values. So when the property values do well, Dallas County is doing well. So this is one of those projects that always not only is for the enjoyment of the people that lives around them, is changing the way we think. We talk all the time about clean water, about clean air, about transportation, more efficiency, less fumes into in our environment. So I know that the next generation of citizens of Dallas County don't want to be driving as much as we drive right now. And the trails are going to be the best opportunity to go from home to work. If you live in Irving, if you live in Coppell, if you live in Grand Prairie, hey, why not in the future just take your bike or your electric whatever and take the trail?
Exactly.
So why not? I think it's something that we need to plan into the future, and this is some of that thinking for the future.
Well, speaking of that future thinking, Dr. Garcia, I have to ask, how are these ideas for projects like these generated? I mean, does the city bring forth an idea to you? Does the county identify the need? How do they?
Most of the time it's the city. I do have to give all the credit to the fabulous leadership that you have in Irving with the mayor, the council, and the staff. Once they come and tell us, hey, we would like to do these projects, how can you help? Dallas County, like I say, is a partner. We usually partner at a 50% level. So once they have this project, and they have been very, very good in bringing these projects, hey, it's a pleasure just to be a partner and help in any way we can.
Oh, wonderful. Now, you know, when people take advantage of these trails, there's one little pesky problem at this time of year, and that would be mosquitoes. Yes. Can we talk for a moment about the city and the county and how they work together to address this issue?
Yeah, Dallas County Health and Human Services has been instrumental, you know, not only with the city of Irving, but another 15 municipalities, of all the municipalities in Dallas County, not only in testing some of the mosquito pools, but also instrumental in providing information to all our citizens. It's very important for us that we have a healthy, healthy people living in Dallas County, and health comes out with prevention. And you have some of the pamphlets that you can find in Dallas County Health and Human Services website. Just get in. What do we do to protect ourselves? And definitely, I know that the city of Irving has fabulous projects in our trails, sometimes on parks at nighttime. Don't forget, you know, be protected, use some of the mosquito repellent, don't forget around your ears, and long sleeves protection in your feet, and of course, we don't like any stagnant water when it comes about mosquitoes. They can, you know, multiply in very little amount of water. So just be protected. And this is one of the things that Dallas County does, as well with utility help for some of our seniors and people that need some resources, especially during the hot summer months or the cold winter months.
Sure.
You know, here, so we're always talking about extremes, but Dallas County Health and Human Services provides a lot of services for our seniors, for handicap, for help with mosquito prevention and pretty much vaccinations, everything that has to do with the health of a society.
That's wonderful, and it's really nice that y'all put together these pamphlets and you have them ready and available, because like you said, sometimes it just takes that reminder, being reminded, hey, put on the repellent, or hey, this is available, or that you have these services for senior citizens who may not be aware that there is help
and in
available.
English and Spanish.
Wonderful.
So if you need any kind of information, and of course we're always available to go and talk to organizations, to community meetings, to neighborhood associations, please don't hesitate to call us. We can do that at your convenience. That's what we're there for.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that information. I'm sure a lot of people would love to take advantage of that. Now, I want to talk about something else that's really a priority for you now, and that would be our roads. I think they're a priority for everyone. If you ever hit a pothole, you go, wow, we do need road improvements throughout Texas, period. But I know that improvements to MacArthur Boulevard were already completed earlier this year near Hunter Farrell Road. So can you tell us about that project?
Well, Hunter Farrell was one of the projects that when I ran for office, I promised I will make it happen. It was a project that was in the books for more than 18 years. It's a project of, expensive project of more than $20 million, in which not only was a project for transportation, I also find out that around those neighborhoods there was a lot of flooding. So it was a drainage transportation project. And it couldn't happen without a lot of entities, and that was the city of Irving, the city of Grand Prairie, North Texas Council of Government, as well as Dallas County. So I'm very proud of that project that was finished within 2 years after we started. So it's one of the projects that I got the most comments about, because it had been in the books for so long.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to personally thank you and your staff and everybody who's been instrumental in taking care of some of the road projects, because I drive in Irving like many of our viewers each and every day. And it is wonderful when you drive down a road and you're like, wow, this is so much better. They've really improved it. Road improvements are happening. You can feel the difference when you're driving. And that's from me. But you said you've been getting all kind of feedback from other people and comments. What have they said about the road improvements?
And other projects, because for example, MacArthur, it was very important not only for Irving, but also for Grand Prairie, because of the entertainment district that Grand Prairie has there, Lone Star. Mm-hmm. And people, if you remember, it was a project when we went from 2 to 4, divided lanes. So that has, been very positive, because people can get out of the venue at night. How many times you go to a concert and then you have to stay 1.5 hours out there to get out of it? So it was not only a connectivity project, but it was also a reliever, to get into the freeway. So I think that the kind of projects that we do in Dallas County are that, multimodal, they are transportation, they are drainage, they are those programs and projects that we usually partner also with the state. Sometimes they are a partner, like in 183, 161, etc. Those kind of projects where, are led either by the state or are led by the municipality, or sometimes are led by Dallas County. But definitely, that's what takes when you want to make the traffic and the quality of life better. Sure. Those are the kind of projects that make the difference. Now, when you talk about streets, because you mentioned streets, usually the streets are part of what the municipality does, more than Dallas County. But we have in Dallas County, my district has a crew that does asphalt. So we have helped the city of Irving in several projects, different streets. Usually the city tells us which streets they want us to do, okay. And we put the crew, we put obviously the insurance, we put the materials, we put all the machinery that was needed for the project. And right now we've been working in several streets here in Irving, Northgate. Usually for all the viewers, when you see our crew, they usually says Road and Bridge District 4. So if you have any comments, please don't hesitate to call us. We are very proud of all the work that we do, not only in Irving, we work a lot in other municipalities. We have worked in Coppell, we have worked in Highland Park and other municipalities whenever they want our projects being done in asphalt. Sometimes they do, we bid like everybody else, so we usually give the best price.
Interesting. That's fascinating. I didn't realize that you did it in other places like Highland Park. So yeah, I've learned some information
We're
from you.
hired by the municipality whenever they need any kind of project that requires asphalt. We do the milling, we do pretty much everything.
Okay, perfect. So you talked a bit about MacArthur and you also talked about Hunter Farrell, but I want to ask you about another project. What can you tell us about the potential improvements to Rock Island Road?
We are working in Rock Island. In particular, we're taking care of the bridge. So, I mean, we are at this point working with the municipality to be sure that all this project goes along. And I will keep you posted on that one.
Perfect. And I know the city of Irving is also focusing on a lot of infrastructure right now, and it's clearly one of your priorities as well. Why is the investment in infrastructure so important?
Because remember, is the base. You know, when you have good infrastructure, it can last for many years. And that is usually the most expensive part. And one of the things that people don't realize is that this infrastructure is usually the most expensive or can be very expensive. And hey, it's not like opening a library or opening anything that is very celebrated, but definitely it can help you with your drainage, it can help you with the transportation, it can help you with everything that has to do with improving any kind of road or any kind of infrastructure. So.
I see. And Dr. Garcia, one of the things you've always emphasized in the past, and you've emphasized here today as a commissioner, is educating your constituents about the services that are provided for them through Dallas County. Can you give us some examples of services people should absolutely know about?
Well, definitely everything that has to do with health and human services. That definitely is number one. The county also oversees Parkland. As many of you all know, Parkland is the only hospital in the area where that is a part of the state, a part of the county. So it's the only public hospital in the North Texas region. So it is important that people know that it's a hospital that is there, in case of need. The Dallas County sets their tax rate and their budget, so it's important that they know that is to their service, and that we have satellite clinics, one of them here in the city of Irving. So it is important that they know that. We try to do more of diversion when it comes to health nowadays. Prevention, an apple a day keeps a patient away, but the reality is that with the increased cost of healthcare, there's more people that really need services, health services. And the way we're delivering the services with Parkland Hospital is that we want to come closer to you rather than going to an emergency room, which is when you have the longest wait and is where you have the highest cost. Going to an emergency room is the most expensive way of having any kind of healthcare. So what we're doing right now with Parkland Hospital and Dallas County is to bring some of these services to you. Be sure that if Elba lives in Irving, we want her to be sure that if she has diabetes, if she has hypertension, if she needs any kind of resource that we can provide to her in her own community, or in Grand Prairie, or in Dallas, or in West Dallas, that they have the opportunity to go there based on their zip code, so we keep them away from the long waiting hours and of course from any kind of additional costs that they might incur.
And it's important to note that that's not just for adults, but they also help with, like, for instance, child vaccinations, immunizations that need to take place.
Dallas County Health and Human Services is in charge of that. And yes, right now is the period of going back to school. We're open right here in the clinic in Irving. You don't have to go all the way to Stemmons, where the Health and Human Services Department is. You can do it right here in your neighborhood till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't wait till the last minute. Usually the lines get pretty big as you wait for the go back to school, which is right around the corner.
Exactly. A lot of people, you hear them saying, I waited to the last minute, now I'm having to wait in line. But it's good to know that they have these smaller locations that are right in your community and you can go there. Now, do parents need to take any type of material, whether it's taking the kids or if you're going to Parkland for yourself? Do they need to have documents just proving they're a citizen of Dallas County?
No, the reality is if you go into emergency, definitely not. That's part of what we provide. But if you go to your community clinic, most of the time you do have to prove that you live in in Irving, pretty much. But the reality is, at this point, I mean, if you want to vaccinate your kids, you know, we want a healthy community. We want every kid to be vaccinated. So we are open from 8 to 4, and I encourage everybody not to wait till the last minute. And remember, it's a cost that goes into the school district. When the kids are not there for class, it costs all of us as taxpayers.
It's definitely something important to keep in mind. And something else that's important, I've noticed that you've kept saying, hey, if you have comments or if you have any concerns, contact us and let us know. So let's address that. What are some ways that residents can really have input and get involved in county government?
Well, definitely many ways. We all connected nowadays. So Elba Garcia, elba.garcia.dds@dallascounty.org. If you just put my name, chances are something will pop out that will take you into the county website. That's obviously one way. I like my constituents to be involved, and I'm very blessed that you all do. It's amazing how many people call me and say, hey, Dr. Garcia, I need some help with this appointment. Hey, Dr. Garcia, I would like you to work on this. That's obviously one. Your input is always very important. The other way is obviously serving in board and commissions. That gets you into the nitty-gritty of Dallas County. I have people working in a lot of the board and commissions in the city of Irving, and we try to have people from every single municipality. I have several people from Irving, like Robert Martinez, that serves in the Parkland Board, and the Salinas that serves in MetroCare, all residents of Irving that have been instrumental in making sure that their input, not only as a citizen but as a taxpayer, as a person, is taken into consideration in every single action that the county does. We are a very diverse county, and I'm sure most of your viewers know that Irving is the most diverse city in the whole 24 municipalities of Dallas County. So your input is, invaluable. I always say that when we're not at the table where the discussions are being made, we're usually part of the menu. So your input is extremely important.
You've touched a lot on the future and how things are changing and how the next generations are doing things differently. So have you noticed a change as far as their involvement of wanting to get involved, contacting you, getting more into what's going on with the government from younger people?
Definitely. I mean, that's something that you can see every day. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but the reality is that the new generation, I was just with the leadership, is the Dallas Leadership and Education Program last week, and these young men and women, I mean, they really are getting ready to, run for office. They really want to get more involved. They really want to be part of what the next generation of leaders are all about.
Wonderful, and that's definitely a good thing. So what would you say viewers need to understand about the role of county government?
Well, I think that getting involved, be present. How many times I always tell in my groups and when I talk to different organizations that involvement is the key. If you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's coming, right? So when you get an invitation from your city council, when you get an invitation from your commissioner's court, when you're state representative, most of the politics are local. And yes, I know that it's very important that we vote for president, that we vote for the other elections, but remember, it's your council member, it's your state rep, it's your commissioner, it's your representative to the school district, the ones that take all the decisions that affect you personally. When you wake up in the morning and you open that faucet to brush your teeth, because I hope that's what we all do, right?
Right, hopefully.
As a dentist, I have to say that. Who brings the water? The municipality. You walk into the sidewalk. Who works on that? Your city council. You go into the fire station. Your city council. The city is the first line of defense. Then it comes, your commissioner, when you have to go to court, you have to be in a jury, you have to take a main artery to get to work. There's your county. But then it comes, who puts the tax rates for your schools? Who puts your state representative? Who makes those decisions? Your school representative. So I know that usually it's the elections that most people don't vote. And those are the elections that really affect your life every day in and out. So I just want our viewers to know that it's all our responsibility in today's world to be involved, that, united, we always do better than divided. And that politics is just one part of the whole process. There's great news, and I'm so happy that you invite me today, because we talk about the great news that are going around us, that is going in our municipalities, in our everyday lives.
Beautifully said. And on a personal note, you mentioned that you are a dentist. Some of our viewers may not be aware of that, but you've also been a public servant at the county level since 2010, I believe. What would you say has been the highlights of the work you've done so far?
Well, I got elected in 2010. I got into the commissioner's court in 2011. And I think the highlight of everything you do is to see a project finish. Once you can see the trail, when we open trails, when we open streets, when we open arteries, a lot of people don't go to this, but they know that it happens because of their taxpayers' money. So always the height is to, when you go through somewhere and know that in any way, even if you're only one vote of 5, your input, your constituency, the people that believe in you and that help you to get elected, are there. I see them every single time. I see good things happening. Obviously, I have worked, in many programs with the county jail. Like I'm a big animal lover, so with Home for Hounds, where we train inmates and to basic commands for dogs. So when they get out of the jail, they have something they can do, so they don't come back in 4 years into the county jail. And at the same time, we provide some of the dogs, thanks to the Grand Prairie Animal Shelter, to that learn the commands, who makes the dog more adoptable. So it's a win-win for both. Programs like that, when you hear someone coming and say, Dr. Garcia, thank you for this program. I want my family to be very, very proud of me after I get out of jail. When you hear those stories, those are the stories that really move you. When you see the families in the juvenile service, when you see the people in the Health and Human Services Department that save money by going through some of our programs, when you see the grandparents raising grandchildren and they don't have air conditioning or money to pay the bill that month, and you're able to help them. And of course, just going into the horseshoe, when you keep the same tax rate for the last 2 terms, without raising taxes. And I know people are going to say, yes, but property values continue to go up. But the tax base stays the same, and you can see the result of your taxpayers' money. So I think that that's what makes an elected official feel part of a change. And that's what I am proud to be able to be someone that continues to try to think out of the box so we can make more with what we have. Mental programs, the state continues to cut, the money for mental services, and it's something that 1/3 of our jail population have mental issues, and they shouldn't be in jail. They should be in a program where they can get well and reintegrate into society. So it's many, many things. I don't think I can talk about one, but I think that the best part of being an elected official is to see that you can do more good for all your, fellow, neighbors, friends, and constituents.
Well, you should be very, very, very proud of all the achievements you've already accomplished. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Garcia.
Thank you for inviting me. And I want to tell all your viewers, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your calls. And don't forget about us, 214-653-6670.
Thank you. I bet they'll be giving you a call. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We do want to thank you for watching. I'm Starlene Stringer. Please be sure to join us on Thursday, September 6th at 1:30 p.m. for our next edition of Open Line. We'll see you then.